All right. So, welcome to Freedom Culture. Here at the Freedom Culture, I like to discuss current events on the financial sector, this new digital economy, and also breaking down blockchain technology in the most understandable terms possible. And this is my how do I say, this is part of my channel where it is called the Critical Take, where I just talk about critical current issues really fast and giving it to you live and direct. Here is the current market, the current prices of the ISO 222 cryptocurrencies, where I tend to focus the most on the critical take being now my philosophy is that we are approaching dot-com bubble 2.0, and I'm sure we all know about these cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, and it's all over the place. However, there's only a few cryptocurrencies that's actually fundamental and will be useful for the whole world. Otherwise, there's a lot of garbage out there that will not make it through regulation. So I focus on the cryptos that is regulatory compliant, that is safe, it's clean, and it's not going nowhere because of its network. And as time goes on, we're noticing that these ISO 222 cryptocurrencies will be the problem to, will be the solution to a lot of economical problems that we have today. So, for example, the Fed, whatever the Fed says, I follow really closely because problem, reaction, solution. The problem is the economy sucks. What do you call it? The rates is going up. The tax rates is going up. Inflation, they can't seem to get inflation down to 2%. I really don't think that it's that difficult, but I respect it. So word of the day is today, as I share my screen, 1 second. So today, the Fed says it's not ready to cut rates until greater confidence. Inflation is moving to 2% goal. So, Jerome Powell has not budged when it comes to inflation. He says that he's determined on making it 2%. I honestly don't think they're going to be successful with that because in order for it to drop that low, they'll have to keep interest rates really high. And right now, we're feeling the strain on the economy. We're feeling the strain on the economy. A lot of layoffs are happening. We have the AI adoption that's coming out fast, causing a lot of layoffs. I know a lot of, personally, I've been hearing that. Um, and it's not affecting inflation because prices are still high. We're in a conundrum of a economical mess here, So, like I said, problem, reaction, solution. And my theory is the solution is ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrency. So let's see what it says here. The Federal Reserve officials at their June meeting indicated that inflation is moving in the right direction, but not quickly enough for them to lower interest rates. In my opinion, we're approaching Great Depression 2.0. I don't think they're going to lower interest rates. I think they're going to keep it up high, and that's how we deal with stagflation. Excuse me if you're hearing fireworks. It is 4th of July. Happy 4th to everyone. But that's why we're dealing with stagflation. And I feel like the interest rates will go up until 6% until something breaks. And then that solution to that breaking will be, in my opinion, ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrencies. And we're going to go over some videos that kind of supports my claim. Here in this article, it says minutes released Wednesday showed that policymakers lacked confidence they needed to lower policy, while they generally agreed there should be no rush to cut. They don't feel like there should be any rush to cut, you know? So let me stop sharing my screen. Now, see, the problem is, like I said, if they don't cut, jobs will get cut. You know, it'll be a strain on the economy. It'll be a strain on these businesses. And, you know, we are all like, okay, that's the rich people, that's the businesses, they should be okay, but we get paid from those businesses. So if there's anybody that they're gonna liquidate first, it will be employees. And then we'll have another problem. We'll have an employment problem, and then we'll have to deal with welfare. And in my idea, that's when the implement of universal basic income and central bank digital currencies will roll out. And we're getting closer and closer there. So I took some notes based off of the recent news on the Fed. So the Fed is basically cautious. Um, the Fed's cautious approach on to the rate cuts until inflation is under control could align with the ISO compliant cryptocurrencies, which offer a more stable and transparent financial economic system, potentially helping to manage inflation and economic stability. So basically, the problem here is the economy, the inflation. They don't know whether if they want to keep inflation, if they want to lower it, if they're not sure if they want to keep rates high or lower it. The solution here, the reaction would be, you know, Great Depression and economic turmoil. The solution will be the payment rails of ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrencies. You know, so this is a standard. I know cryptocurrencies is kind of like a new thing or whatever. They are really going in outside. I'm sorry if y'all hear this, but I just wanted to quickly make this video. I'm gonna share my screen and talk on the content that I've came across. Just 1 second. So here's my man, Coach JV. Shout out to Coach JV. He's pretty much going over how the tax rate and what the Fed's decision is going to affect your portfolio if you're invested in the market right now. If you're invested in cryptocurrencies, or if you're invested in I'm so sorry, I gotta close that door. If you're invested in cryptocurrencies, hold on 1 second, sorry. So yeah, so let's get into it. 1 second. Happy 4th to everyone. Happy 4th, happy 4th. It's my man Coach JV. He's basically telling us like what reaction, what outcome may come out of the Federal Reserve's decision. And once they do, so they'll cut rates, and that's going to affect jobs. That's going to affect the market. That's going to affect the stock market. That's going to affect crypto. But that's also a positive thing, because that's where you could accumulate these fundamental assets that will be utilized in the future. And when they cut back rates, they're keeping rates where it's at, and that's going to strain the economy. When they cut back rates, that's when your assets is going to boom, but inflation will too. So if you don't have assets, you won't be keeping up with inflation. And so let's get into
because the job markets are favorable. What you need to pay attention to. Jerome Powell gave us a stark warning around the economy 1 day ago. So on 4th of July, I want you to pay attention from now till September. He shared with us they're not lowering interest rates because the job markets are favorable. What you need to pay attention to is the job markets July, August, and September. The reason why the job markets are favorable, we're coming out of post-pandemic economy. But he did hint to us, if you pay attention and read between the lines, that that is stabilizing now. So usually when you raise interest rates and you work to cool inflation, that rocks the middle class. Okay, we haven't experienced that because we're in a post-pandemic economy, so he can keep interest rates high. He said if we start to see an inverse response to that, interest rates high, cooling inflation, and the job markets start to get rocked, they could ruin the economy. So they may lower interest rates if they start to see the job markets falter. So pay attention. When they asked him about September, he kind of giggled it off. But I think they're going to lower interest rates in September. Number one, before the presidential election, there's always favorable markets. Number two is if the job markets start to falter because we go into a normal economy post-pandemic, then the middle class is going to get rocked and they're going to need to lower interest rates to stimulate the economy, start printing more money and monetizing more debt. So the reason why you're seeing crypto go down right now is because the response of Jerome Powell. But when you see interest rates go down, that means the dollar is less attractive. People are going to run to assets and your assets are going to go parabolic. You need to have an exit plan if you truly want to get wealthy in these markets. As it comes up, this is the buying opportunity, guys. This is it. This is when I'm buying. And everybody's going to be crying because they're going to be buying at the top. So I'm buying in when it's low like this, when it goes unfavorable. I buy when everybody's running. When everybody's coming in, I'm selling. I pull from the top of the risk pyramid. I pull it down the risk pyramid into tier one capital. I insure my money. I invest more in companies to get residual income. And I'm going to be going into real estate heavily 2024 and 2025, doing the opposite of everybody else. So that's what I'm doing. That's what the response is, not financial advice. Make your own financial moves. But this is exciting, exciting times to build wealth for your family. But if you're not paying attention, it's not going to be an exciting time the next 24 months. Let's get your shit together. Love you guys. Remember, I will never proactively DM you. Shout out to all scammers. I will never ask you about your crypto portfolio.
Shout out to Coach AV. He's always giving out some great game. And basically, we want to navigate the economy the way he is right now. I'm taking my profits from these crypto assets and I'm putting it into business. He's doing real estate. I'm putting it into business. And basically, once they cut back on rates, that is going to make the market soar. And the reason why Bitcoin and the crypto market is how it is right now is because of federal Jerome Powell's mentioning on how he's keeping interest rates at 2%. I mean, he's keeping interest rates where it is right now because of his goal of the 2% inflation. Now, yeah, so in that video, he mentioned all of the things that could come out of that, the problems that could come out of that. However, I'm gonna go ahead and share straight from the horse's mouth, my man Jerome Powell, what he says. Just give me 1 second.
The United States is running a very large deficit at a time when we're at full employment, and the United States is running a very large deficit at a time when we're at full employment, and it just is. The level of debt that we have is not unsustainable. The path that we're on is unsustainable. That's completely non-controversial. I would have thought that this is something that should be a top level issue. And you do hear this from a lot of elected officials, but it should be a real focus going forward is how do we get back to a sustainable path? Because you can't run these kinds of deficits in really in just good economic times for very long. I mean, I wouldn't say, I can't really speak to the time, but in the longer run, we'll have to do something sooner or later, and sooner will be better. The United States is running a very large deficit.
All right. So like he said, they'll have to do something sooner or later, and sooner better than later. There's a lot of talk about something being done in September. So everybody's bracing for that. Yeah. And like I said, the solution to everything that he is saying will be the software protocols that we mentioned a lot on this channel, which is ISO 222 cryptocurrencies, XLM, XLM, XDC, Algo, Quant, HBAR, all of these guys right here, right now, and the market is doing bad right now, being because of Jerome Powell's news. So right now is the best buying opportunities. What I do is I take a small percentage of my check and I buy a couple of these. Right now, XRP is under 50 cents, and it's bound to go up to. This is a blessing. This is a gift right now. You're holding an asset that will be utilized around the world. The whole world values this asset. And I'm not going to go ahead and go on a tangent about XRP because I could all the time. So I want to go over a couple of videos on ISO 222 to make sure that everybody has a better understanding. The more in the critical take, I will be, simplifying ISO 222 the most I can.
In-house, I often make an analogy with investment in high-speed rails. We've invested a lot as an industry in ISO 2022, and now we need to make sure that the benefits become available to our customers and banks. And to do so, we need to build trains that allow us to travel faster, more comfortable, more reliable, and also secure. So what we need to do is we need to translate the investment made into value for customers and banks. And that's really important because in the end, we do this for customer value. We start adopting ISO 2022 right now. Don't wait. Take a customer-centric approach. That is essential. Look at where the added value is. Make sure you have a compelling customer story, and make sure that you involve everybody within the bank. Take all the stakeholders along, not only people within operations and IT, but also involve your sales, because they are the ones that have to tell the customer story. They have to convince the customers to migrate to ISO and see where the added value is.
Right. So what this man is talking about, he's actually talking to the banks when he says take advantage of ISO 22 right now. Get ISO 222 compliant right now. Because if the banks don't get compliant right away, then will go on out of business. Like when everything is with these protocols, it speeds up everything. It speeds up liquidity and it speeds up business. And if you're outdated in the archaic system like we was before, then you'll be out of business. Why would I still pay fees on my money when I could just go with this bank and pay less fees, way less fees, because they're using the cryptocurrencies or the distributed ledger technology, aka blockchain technology. So this is actually to banks. We don't, blockchain technology, I can argue, is not really for the consumer. It is for the banks. I mean, it is for the banks and the businesses. It is B2B more than B2C. So there he was just basically talking about how critical it is to get the banks involved in the ISO 222 compliant cryptocurrencies. Here on the Good Morning Show, they discuss a little bit more in detail about I like their comparisons on what it is so that people could be a little more, so that you can understand it a little more. Shout outs to the Good Morning Crypto Show. Just give me one quick moment. I'll get better at this. ISO 222, for banking is going to be what standard shipping containers did to the shipping industry.
Last time you were on the show, you did a great job of breaking it down, kind of what you thought the impact would be and when you think these things could come into effect. What's your current perspective on ISO regulation? Not necessarily the timeline, but what the impact may be once these concepts are implemented.
Okay, so the ISO 20022 regulations, ISO is a standardizing system. So it's not just for crypto. It's been standardizing things around the world for a long time. And it standardized shipping containers years ago so that if they were the same size, they could go from a train to a ship and be moved around the world very easily if everyone used the same standard. So it's the same thing now with banking. Banking used to not have the ability under the SWIFT system to be able to communicate with other banks.
Last time you were on the show, you did a great job of
All right.
breaking it down, kind of what you thought the impact.
So basically, they're saying like ISO 222 is the standard, ISO 222 compliant standard, like compliant cryptocurrencies. This is the standard that the whole world will agree on, so it's kind of like the most sophisticated technologies to help the problem. The problem that Jerome Powell is talking about, the whole world is dealing with a economic crisis, more so a liquidity crisis. So what's going to free up that liquidity is distributed ledger technology and the payment rails. This is new technology. This is a new way to send money around. It wasn't so easy before. You're going to start to notice your paychecks hitting your account a lot faster. Everything is going to be a lot more faster. They're already starting to pay people at the same day that they work. You feel me? So there's going to be a lot more clearing. The reason why things were slow before was because it had to be verified. The checks had to be verified. It had to go through different hands and stuff like that. But with distributed ledger technology, there's validators all over the world. It's going to be like it's just going to be a lot more efficient, a lot more faster. And these are the new technologies that has I don't know, probably been around for 10 years now, that will be used to solve the global economic crisis, all for the price of 50 cents right now, and eventually the law of supply and demand will come to effect, once these cryptos become in high demand, once people start to realize how important they are, forget about it. They might be blue chip. So on this channel, I just like to discuss precisely that. These are new current events that's been going on July 4th. Sorry for the noise outside, but it's a celebration. You know what I'm saying? It's a celebration of independence, and I hope for everybody's independence, and hopefully these cryptocurrencies could get us there. We're in a very interesting time right now, and I'm hoping that everybody kind of like embrace the moment, the present with their families, and enjoy life right now, and just make wise decisions. And I feel like making wise decisions would be to invest in yourself and invest in the security of your family. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of these economic situations that's going on right now, anything could happen right now. Right now, we're in a moment that anything could happen, and most likely it will be something financial. So, like I said, problem, reaction, solution. And on my channel, my philosophy is to always stay solid, don't trip, and buy the dip. When there's blood in the streets, be ready to eat. Economic collapse is imminent. The stock market is filled with individuals who knows the price of everything, but the value of nothing. Whenever there's a Black Swan event, I'm throwing some bread at it. All right. So we're gonna wrap this up today. Today is another episode of the Critical Take. I hope everybody have a good 4th of July weekend. And peace, love, respect. Take care of yourself. Tell the family I said hi. You know what I'm saying? Save me a plate. You feel me? But